Hey guys, welcome to week 7 of the Youth live stream, COVID pandemic edition. Lots of fun. We've had plenty of fun in the last few weeks on live stream. I actually have no clue where Glenn is, so I guess we'll just get started.
Hang on, I'm late. Sorry guys.
Hey Glenn.
Sorry.
What is going on?
Cricket season, everything. I've been shopping, stuff's been going on.
Right.
Hey.
Hey.
Well, guys, sport's back.
Yes.
We can see that.
Have you had the chance to watch any footy? Like last night, Broncos and the Knights playing?
Yeah, I did watch it. Guys, sorry to Sarah Hatton. Her team lost last night. So if you guys see Sarah, make sure you, tell her sorry that her team lost, guys. Yeah.
Bad luck.
Well, Sarah, I love you, no matter what team you support. So, give me brownies later. Well, I think it's time for the Oprah segment of our night.
Wow.
Now, as you can see, it is a very big Oprah segment.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is because we are appreciating our tech team tonight. So everybody give a stand up and an applause wherever you are.
Are we standing? Oh.
For our tech team. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate everything you do. And you'll find something relevant to technical things in this bag. Chloe, come up. And this is Chloe. She's young and she belongs to this youth group and stuff. And she's going to take these to the tech team. Thanks, Chloe.
Wow.
Well,
Cool.
and I haven't forgotten you guys.
Oh.
Now, in celebration of sport, I went to Rebel this week.
Oh my.
Nice.
And in celebration of my favorite sport, cricket, I decided to get you all little bats.
Yes.
But not just any cricket bats that have been signed by a South African cricketer.
It's what I've always wanted,
So you can
Glenn.
see, like they are sealed in their packets still.
Wow.
And if you look very closely, I mean, there's a signature there from Glenn Culling, South African cricketer, with the names of the people that they're being gifted to. So, like you guys, appreciate you heaps. And I got the last ones at Rebel, so you probably won't be able to get any more. But
Great. Thank you.
so keep those. Tell your friends about them. That you've got a very special.
Actually
bat.
has our names on it.
It has your names
How
on
do
it.
you
Spelled my name
reseal
wrong. Spelled my name wrong, bro.
So what?
Moving on.
Well, thanks, Glenn, for that. Great. So it's so exciting to have everyone back. We had Salt here last week. This week we have Fusion in the hall. Shout out to Fusion, guys. Even though we are here and still apart, we will be using Slido tonight. So even if you're in the hall or if you're at home in Salt, please jump into Slido. Our code is E917. So E917, head over to Slido, let us know you're here, especially Salt guys. We'd love to know that you guys are tuning in at home and that you're still listening to the live stream.
Awesome. So we haven't forgotten about Instagram and all the fun that we've been having with the challenges over the last couple of weeks. And we had heaps and heaps of really fun submissions this week, but we did have to choose a winner. And just so that you guys are aware, the winners will be given actual prizes. Obviously, we're not all together at the moment, so you haven't received them yet, but at the end of the term, you'll be receiving prizes. So that's incentive to keep on submitting your videos as the coming weeks happen. So this week's winner is Jacob Ward in Year 8 with his pet trick video with his dog, which we're going to take a look at now. All right, so my friends have gone to organise the next games and I'm going to be joining them soon. But Jacob is the winner, so give him a congratulations, especially Fusion in the hall, who I know will be able to see him, assuming he's here. But we also have, quite unusually, a special mention. Sarah and Kevin in Year 11 put together a very funny video of a pet trick that entirely lacks any pets. So we're also going to have a look at that one now.
Roll over, Kevin. Roll over.
Oh dear, that's just gets me every time. If you don't know what that was, I'm pretty sure it was Kevin doing a roll and then having some condensed milk, but he can correct me if I was wrong. So that's it for this week, but in the coming week we have a new challenge as always, and the next one up is we want you guys to recreate one of your favorite camp memories, and we want you to do it wearing the shirt that you wore at that camp. So if you had a particular memory that you want to recreate from the Freed to Follow camp, then you wear your Freed to Follow shirt in the clip. And we know we have had some people having trouble sending in their clips via email, and so if you are having trouble, then you can message it to the Youth at NBC Instagram page, and that should work well fine as well. So now, just before I go over to join Ashley and Zach for our first game, I'm just going to quickly explain what's happening. So we're playing a game called 5 Second Rule, where bunch of the leaders have written down different categories. We have no idea what they are. We haven't seen them at all. And what we have to do is we're going to pick up a category and get to look at it, and then we have to think of 3 things that fit into that category within 5 seconds and slam down a buzzer. I personally think that I'm going to win, but I mean, we'll see what happens. This is also one that you can play along with at home, whether it's just in your head or if you want to jump on and throw some answers into Slido. Just a reminder that the code is E917 if you want to do that. And so I'm going to head over now and we're going to get started with our first game.
Favorite camp memory. I think one of my favorite camp memories was Chloe, one of my girls, got hit in the face by Brett and she got a black eye.
That was bad. That was not good. That was not good. All right, so I'm going to start. I'm going to pick up one of these. Ashley is going to have to guess 3 things that fit into this category. Again, we haven't seen them. Don't know how nice the leaders have or have not been. I know Glenn wrote something particularly nasty according to some of the other leaders, so we'll see what happens. So Ashley, for your 5 seconds, from Sarah the Hatton, you need to give me 3 holiday club themes, starting from now.
Party box. I haven't done any. I've only done one holiday club.
All right, off to a terrific start.
Sorry.
That's all right. We also haven't heard the buzzer yet, so it's on you, Zach.
Okay,
I'll
Zach,
try.
you ready?
Yes.
Your category is... Oh, this is easy. Marvel films.
Oh.
Who's it from?
Avengers
From
Endgame,
Sam.
Avengers Infinity War, and to mix it up, Spider-Man Homecoming.
That was pretty good. We didn't even do the seconds.
No.
Don't need it. Too good.
Yeah, you are too quick.
All right, for
Right,
you,
you're up,
Jamie.
Zachary. Oh, I'm so stressed.
We have from Sam Everly, Disney musicals.
Oh, not Anastasia, Aladdin, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty.
Not bad.
Is Sleeping Beauty a musical?
Yep, it is.
Confident,
It
yes.
sure is.
Okay.
your word for it.
Guys, let us know on Slido if you think Sleeping Beauty is actually a musical or not.
It
You
is.
need a judgment on that one.
It is. This is. I'm winning. That's what's happening.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, Ashley.
Yes.
Your next one is from Lockie. Reasons to have a sick day, starting now.
You don't want to work, you're actually sick, and you don't like your co-worker.
Not bad.
I mean, I can condone one of them, at least.
I think I've done all of them, though. Okay, you
Let's have
ready?
a look.
Okay, from Chloe. You need to name block leaders.
Oh, Daniel Seiss, Carly Garlick, and Amy Floyd.
Mad. Good one.
Well,
All right,
Yeah,
I'm
me.
up.
For you,
This is very
from
stress-inducing.
Sam Everly again. Youth camp themes.
Oh, okay. Free to follow, real life, and no greater.
oh,
I think that was an easy one for
Yeah,
me. I mean,
bad.
I've been to quite a lot of them. Okay, we still haven't found Glenn's yet, and I kind of want to keep going just until we find it, because I have no
Let's keep
idea what he
going.
wrote.
What's me? I'm gonna be mad.
Okay, you ready, Ashley?
I'm ready.
This one, again, from Sarah the Hatton. Classic. Worst birthday presents, starting now.
I got an iron, I got a pot plant, and
Is that a present? There's a noise.
guys, I think I got it.
No.
That's a strong no. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You tried.
Okay, the next one is from Duncan. Board games involving dice.
Starting.
Monopoly, Yahtzee, and Mousetrap.
Does Mousetrap need a dice?
Yeah. Yes, it has
Duncan's
dice.
nodding, and I feel like he'd
Thanks,
know.
Oh, okay.
I got you. All right, for you, Jamie.
Yeah, I'm ready.
This is from Glenn.
Oh no. Okay,
This
hit
is
me.
mean, bro. South African cricketers.
Oh, you know what? I heard there's one called Glenn Culling. I'm also a South African cricketer.
Marnus Labuschagne.
Did he even write any potentials?
No, it was just a blank piece of paper with
Alright.
South African cricket team on it.
That's fine. Well,
Cricketers.
Glenn is laughing at me very, very hard right
Oh,
now.
he's so smug.
So I think, do we have time for one more round or should we wrap it up? We have time for one more round. That's exciting because I want someone else to have a hard one like that. All right, you ready, Ashley?
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
This one is from Bronte. Oh, this is fun. It is types of dinosaurs starting now.
A Tyrannosaurus Rex, a Triceratops, and a Velociraptor.
No. Velociraptor. Hard no.
I mean,
Hard no.
you mix. That was technically 4. If you mix 2 other dinosaurs together, you nailed it.
That one.
That's 2 and
Guys,
2
let us know in
halves.
Slido if you think I got that one. 100%. Okay.
All right, you're up, Zach.
Zach, you ready? This is also from Bronte. This is things you can eat for breakfast and for dinner.
Oh. Let's see. Eggs, sausages, and mushrooms.
Oh,
That was very good.
that was
impressive.
Very good.
All right, this is the last
All right,
one before
last
we
one
move
for
on.
Jamie.
I hope it's better than South African cricket.
Oh, it is. You'll love this. From Michelle, Harry Potter spells.
Oh, Expelliarmus, Wingardium Leviosa, and Avada Kedavra.
Perfect.
Wow.
Woo!
What a killer spell at the end there.
Who won?
I think I did, didn't I?
Oh, what? No,
I
didn't.
think my quality answers definitely won.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. But I can say the winner was not Glenn.
No.
For certain, because that was very mean. I technically think Zach won.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you actually got it. You were very good at that game.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so we've been learning about a few leaders with a little segment called Meet the Leader over the last few weeks. Last week was Sam, fantastic video, and this week we're going to be learning about Jamie over here.
Tell us about Jamie.
Well,
So I've known Jamie since we were both born, and I can say that she, without a doubt, loves organization like nothing else. I mean, she has lists for her lists. It's crazy.
well, I've known Jamie a really long time, and well, when we were 11, the Hogwarts letter didn't come. It was a really hard day. Oh, I love Harry Potter.
She's a Hufflepuff. Who's Jamie? Like the chef? In my childhood, my sister and Jamie, they got together and they made a believer potion. It was a mix of water and glitter and dirt and soap or detergent, you know, something like that. And I drank it. I mean, they made me drink it. I mean, I didn't do it willingly, did I? I don't know.
Yes, you did.
Who is he? Can someone tell me who this Jamie is? You keep asking me questions about a Jamie. Who is he?
So you know those little sherbet packets that have like the sticks in them? Jamie loves those things. She hoards them like Smaug, I swear. I want to say that she buys them by the dozen, but it's more like the thousands. I swear, if you cash in those little things, you could buy the Taj Mahal with them.
She's really into murder mysteries. Like, really into murder mysteries. It's a little intense. Always seems to know how they did it before it reveals it.
You think she knows the ending because she's tried it?
Is this recording?
So you can't tell me about Jamie? What? But
I once saw her eat an entire jar of Vegemite with a spoon. Like, with a spoon! Who does that? It was like eating ice cream! Sorry.
no one? No one? Cameraman? No?
What do you think? Out of 10? Jamie, who?
She literally just showed up doing this. She stood there staring at me dancing for minutes before I looked up.
Thanks, Jamie, for that. Apparently, a big shout out to Ben Adams for making that for us. But Jamie, did you really eat that Vegemite? If so, wow. Okay. Yep, fun. Okay, the next game that we're going to be playing tonight is another trivia. So if you're in Salt, I all want you to head over to Slido now and put that code in and get ready for the quiz. Fusion, you're going to be doing things a bit differently in the hall. You should all be handed out 4 pieces of paper. Dan McDonough's at the front going to help you guys, but each colour is going to represent either A, B, C, or D. So make sure you hold those up for whatever answer you think it is. And at the end, there will be a prize for the person that gets the most questions right. So Salt, head over to Slido, and Fusion, get ready to put your little answer cues up, and we'll start with the quiz now. So our first question is, what was the first feature-length animated movie ever released? Was it A, Cinderella? Was it B, Steamboat Mickey? Was it C, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Or was it D, Sleeping Beauty? Now, Jamie, I still think Sleeping Beauty is not a musical. Guys, please help me out here. I really don't think it is. But let's head over to the answers now. The answer is C, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Okay. Next question. Guess the movie from these emojis. So, what movie is a princess and 1, 2, 3 zzz? Yep. Is it A, Anastasia? Is it B, Sleepless in Seattle? Is it C, Sleeping Beauty? Or is it D, Shrek? What do you guys think? Ready? The answer is C, Sleeping Beauty. Okay. What song plays over the opening credits of Guardians of the Galaxy? Is it A, Hooked on a Feeling? Is it B, Come and Get Your Love? Is it C, Mr. Blue Sky? Or is it D, Go All the Way? I must say Guardians of the Galaxy is one of my favourite Marvel films, just purely because of the soundtrack. It's got an amazing soundtrack that I feel like all the other Marvel films lack. But the answer is B, Come and Get Your Love. Okay, next. What is the highest grossing movie of all time when taking inflation into account? Is it A, Gone with the Wind? Is it B, Avengers Endgame? Is it C, Star Wars Force Awakens? Or is it D, Avatar? I actually haven't seen Force Awakens. Guys, let me know if it's any good. I've seen all the other Star Wars. I'm a bit nervous to see Force Awakens. We'll see. But the answer is... it's A, it's Gone with the Wind. This question actually surprised me a little bit. Yeah. Next question. Guess the movie from the emojis. So what movie is a snowflake, a snow cloud, a tiger, and a father-son, I think? Is it A, is it Frozen? Is it B, Jack Frost? Is it C, Ice Age? Or is it D, the Santa Claus? What do you guys think? The answer is C, Ice Age. Next one. Which of the following movies has Tom Holland not been in? So has he not been in Dolittle? Has he not been in Spies in Disguise, The Amazing Spider-Man, or Onward? Guys, has anyone seen Onward? Highly recommend. Head over to Disney Plus if you've got a Disney Plus subscription. It's a little bit emotional, so make sure you have the tissue box ready, but highly recommend Onward. But let's get back to this. The answer is C, The Amazing Spider-Man. Is that question 5? I don't know what we're up to. Can anyone tell me? We'll just keep going to the end, I think. I don't know what question we're up to, so I can't give you an update on the leaderboard, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, the next question is, what movie is this quote from? Oh, look at that. I have been impaled. Is it A, is it Lord of the Rings? Is it B, Narnia? Is it C, The Simpsons movie? Or is it D, Frozen? Oh, look at that. I have been impaled. I don't even know how to quote it because I'm not sure. Okay, but the answer is D, Frozen. Olaf says it when he gets stabbed by an ice thing. A thing, guys. Okay, next question. Guess the movie from the emojis. So I think that looks like a little town, I guess, and a building and a rock thing and a lamp. Yeah, we're going to go with all of that. Is it A, the librarian? Is it B, National Treasure? Is it C, Hugo? Or is it D, Night at the Museum? I actually watched National Treasure recently. It's quite a good movie. Quite enjoy it. Guys, you haven't seen National Treasure? It's also on Disney Plus. Basically, if you don't have Disney Plus, I'd recommend getting Disney Plus, guys. Okay, but the answer is D, Night at the Museum. What a good film. Also has a really good soundtrack, Night at the Museum. Okay, next one. Okay, what movie is this quote from? Evaporate, tall person. Is it from A, Tall Girl? Is it from B, High School Musical? Is it from C, the BFG? Or is it from D, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban? I've never seen Harry Potter, so I don't know if I'm saying that right, guys. Sorry. Jamie's giving me a strong no. Apparently I said that wrong. Yeah, but let's look at the answer. The answer is B, High School Musical. Guys, fun fact, when I was in high school, I actually was a part of High School Musical on stage, so that was fun. Okay, next question. Which of the following movies has Tom Hanks not been in? Is it A, Jurassic Park? Is it B, Toy Story? Is it C, The Polar Express? Or is it D, Forrest Gump? They're all really good movies. Oh, I loved The Polar Express growing up. It was one of those movies that, you know, when it got towards Christmas time, you'd put on and, you know, good old Polar Express. But the answer is A, Jurassic Park. Tom Hanks has never been in Jurassic Park. Next question. What is the highest grossing animated film in history? Is it A, Lion King? Is it B, Frozen 2? Is it C, Toy Story? Or is it D, Shrek? Shrek's been on here for a few answers, I think. Shout out to Shrek, everyone. But the answer is Frozen 2. That one surprises me. Okay, next question. Oh, I think this is the last question. What is the first animal that you see in the opening of The Lion King? Is it A, a lion? Is it B, an antelope? Is it C, a zebra? Or is it D, a rhino? I think The Lion King is one of my favorite animated films. It's definitely one of them that I had on repeat growing up. I don't think I remember which was the first animal. Glenn, do you know the answer to this, Glenn? Oh, Glenn thinks he knows the answer. Can you out-answer Glenn, everyone? Glenn, what do you think it is? Glenn thinks it's a rhino. Let's see. The answer is D, rhino. The answer is rhino. Okay, guys, so Fusion, I'll find out in a second who's the winner. Salt, I'm getting your results through now. Let's see who's on top of our leaderboard. I have a feeling going off last time, could be Annalise Hatton. She's always up there. Amber's always up there. Rowan's up there quite a bit. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, okay, we have the results coming through. Oh, wow. No, it doesn't surprise me at all, actually. In first place for Salt, we have Sarah Moynan with 10 out of 12. Well, actually, we have 3 people. So the top 3 answered the exact same amount of questions, but it's gone off time. So Sarah Moynan's got the top time. Second place, we have Ben Adams. Third place, we have Annalise. Fourth, we have Claire. Fifth, we have Alicia W. And 6th, we have Dallin. And 7, we have me. Thanks. I'm happy that I came 7th, guys. Oh, do we have a winner? Fusion? We have 2 winners. Jamez and Olivia B from Year 9. Shout outs for you guys. You guys will be getting your prizes soon. So now we're going to head back over to Glenn, Jamie, and Zach for a little chat.
Hey guys, and I was going to say good to see you, but you can see me. I guess that's also good. Well, good to see you guys.
Thank you.
You too, Glenn.
Thank you. I just had to get that up my system.
That was the right response.
All right, guys. So today, carrying on with our series on Jesus, his attributes, who he is, what that means for us, we are talking about the fact that Jesus is not dead. So last week we talked about how Jesus died, which has to do with the atonement and making us in a right relationship with God. But then something happens after he dies. He rises to life again. And in rising to life, there's this idea of hope that comes with that. Now, all the cricket stuff tonight wasn't just an accident. If you had read the document that you've been given, you'll see that there's a big analogy from Cricket South Africa in that document. And a few years ago, South Africa versus Australia, and South Africa absolutely destroyed Australia. And I'm joking, it wasn't that big of a win, but it was, at the time, South Africa chased down the highest ever ODI score. So in other words, first innings, Australia posted 434. That was the highest ODI score of all time. So we were watching it, I remember, like at first innings, and we thought, like, there's no way South Africa were going to be able to pull this back. As in, no team has outscored, no team had even gone past 400. And so I remember just leaving and going to work or going wherever I went. I can't remember where I was. I mean, it's a long time ago, but during the day, South Africa sort of started gripping back, and then there's this idea of hope coming back in. Like South Africa could pull it back, they could win. And eventually they did. And so, but like how many times in that game I thought that, gosh, there was no hope. Like as in South Africa could not win that game, but eventually they did, yeah? And now thinking about like Jesus, and Jesus rising from the dead. This idea of hope, this idea of unlikely victory, okay? Now, have you guys ever faced a seemingly hopeless situation that turned out to be okay?
Yeah, definitely. I remember back in year 12 a while ago, 2017, I was really nervous going into trials. It's like that one that's a practice run. You get one screw up, then it's it. But I was really scared because I might not get into uni and all that kind of thing. I was stressed out. My teachers were on me about everything. But I went on a whim. My family told me it might not happen. But I went on a whim to Wollongong, University of Wollongong, and applied for some early entry. So in other words, I wouldn't have to do my HSC, or well, I'd have to do it, but I wouldn't have to score well enough to get in. So there was a bar set for me. So I went on a whim, and I managed to get in using my obvious charm.
Yeah, I was going to say, probably not so much his charm as his good looks.
Oh.
So, because like you have not won me over with charm.
Oh, yeah, good. Well, anyway, yeah.
Strong feelings from Glenn.
So yeah, I guess yeah, all the stress of HSC was taken off me off that because I knew I had a pathway regardless of what happened.
Yeah, I've had a similar experience it was in sort of an academic setting, but when I was at uni, I had an honours thesis to do, and it was like the final big thing that I was doing for my degree. And I know there was one time when I was meeting with my supervisor in a very crowded cafe, and I'd realised that I'd made a mistake, and it was nearing the end of when my thesis was due. And I remember when I realised, I was going to cry in front of everyone, in front of my supervisor, who I'd only known like a couple of months, and it was going to be very embarrassing for me. And also I was just very overwhelmed at the thought of what work I had ahead of me to make sure I fixed the mistake. And very kindly, my supervisor sort of talked me down and helped me realise that it would be fine. But yes, I felt not overall hopeless, but I thought that I was doing a hopeless job in that moment.
Well, you got through it.
Well, yes, I'm still here.
She is in fact here.
Yes.
This is not a green screen.
No poison tasting has occurred.
Oh yeah, has occurred, but you can see why.
Yeah.
She would be my poison taster.
I'm still angry.
But she shouldn't be angry because, like, I think she'd survive it based on what I saw.
Yeah. All right, Glenn.
Works,
Okay.
I don't think that's how poison works.
I'm saying, like, never mind.
All right.
But like, when it comes to the idea of like hope in my life, I'd say a story that might stick out is when I started studying, like in South Africa, when I started studying my theology degree, I didn't really have enough money or time to do my degree. And the principal of the college, I knew the principal of the college, and he said he would sort the funding out for me to study if I could get there and study. And I said, but if I had to cut out job or cut my hours at work, then I wasn't going to be able to make enough money to survive. And so I thought, like, there's no ways my hours are going to get cut. I'm just not going to be able to live if that happens. And anyway, I just tried. I went and asked my boss if we could do something with my hours, not thinking anything was going to come from that. And I felt embarrassed to even ask. But then I asked, and my hours were cut, and my salary stayed the same. And in a little while, actually, my salary went up after that. As in, like 3 months after that, my salary went up because of what I was doing. So, yeah, it was just a great sense of, God's guidance in that, and this idea of hope when there was, seemingly no hope. Now, like Jesus' resurrection, guys, there's a victory in Jesus' is his resurrection. So if we go to 1 Corinthians 15, verse 21, which will come up on the screen now, which says, "For since death came through a man, the resurrection of the dead comes also through a man." Now, give you a bit of context, tell you what's going on there. So death comes through a man. That's talking about Adam. So in the Bible, God creates the first man, Adam. Adam sins. He does wrong, and we sit with the consequence of that sin. Yeah? As in, someone sins. It might not be you, but you can still suffer that consequence. And I think that train starts all the way back in Adam. But there's a lot of other stuff attached to that, as in, if we were in Adam's place, we probably would have done the same.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's like he represents us in that sense. And so death, the consequence of sin, comes from Adam through to us. Now, Jesus, through his death, through his resurrection, he defeats the death, he defeats the sin. So whatever happens, there's this hope now that Jesus comes. And it does kind of feel hopeless, doesn't it, sometimes with sin around us in the world. And as in, if you got no control, right, over who sins against you. Maybe to an extent even that's hard to say, I control whether or not I sin. I know that's not true, as in we still can't even control that. But then we can't even control other people, as in there's almost no control. And we got Jesus, who's rising from the dead, and he's fighting that battle for us and winning.
Yeah.
And there's hope in that, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
what do you guys think about that? Those concepts of sin and death and hope?
Yeah. I think personally, I relate really strongly with something that Paul says in Romans, where he says, I don't do the good that I want to do, but I do the sin or the bad things that I don't want to do. And I so often find myself in that position where I choose to do something and I just look at it a second, sometimes even later, or the next day or the next week, and go, oh my goodness, why on earth did I do that? That's not who I want to be. That's not how I want to be living, but it's still the decision that I chose to make. And I think that frustration of still being sinful but not wanting to be sinful anymore is very real for me, as I'm sure it is for a lot of people. And so I think I find a lot of peace and hope in the fact that Jesus is the one who bears the weight and the punishment of my sin, which is death, so that I don't have to, because I know there's no way I could ever bear that myself. I could never be perfect. I could never earn my place in heaven like Jesus had to do it for me. And so there's a great sense of relief, and hope, knowing that I don't have to meet that standard that Jesus has already met, and I don't have to beat death because Jesus already did it for me.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I really like how you can be certain that your mess ups in life, they matter, but there's no pain and suffering forever because of it, because Jesus has saved us. There's that light at the end of the tunnel, and there's that aspect of you can relax and reflect that, maybe I shouldn't have sinned, maybe I shouldn't have done those things, but there's that element of Jesus has got my back. I have a safety net. I have someone there who loves me enough to save me.
Yeah, and actually on that as well, I guess there's also hope in that, like sort of mentioned, I know that my eternity in heaven is safe and Jesus has earned that for me, but it's not like Jesus just cares about like when we physically die and then what comes after. He also cares about us now, and he cares about us becoming more like him now, so even though I understand that I'm going to keep on sinning, like you said, I know that, Jesus is here to help me, and he is here to transform me, and he's here to give me strength and willpower that I don't necessarily have on my own.
Yeah, and something maybe you said earlier, Zach, that you didn't say this time.
Yeah.
You were talking about how countercultural,
Yeah.
like this is in what it means for us, because you've got this Jesus restoring, whereas the world is kind of breaking things down.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this isn't working for me. Perhaps, we shouldn't be friends. Or this is, you've upset me. I'm gonna cut you off.
Yeah.
As in, like, even our response to sin is not to fix it, but to cause more destruction.
Yeah.
Like, that is culture.
Yeah.
And here we're saying as Christians, our Jesus is restoring. He's got this agenda to restore, to fix, which is, that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's huge.
absolutely.
Yeah, because with that counterculture, it's a lot of the world that we live in tells us it's all for yourself. It's like, you've got to get a good job, you've got to go to uni to get that job, you've got to make money, you've got to be comfortable, and there's all you, or maybe your family, that kind of thing. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but also it's a culture that encourages self-focus, and instead of focusing on God, which is what we should be doing, obviously. Ultimately, there was the man who tried to bring diamonds into heaven, failed miserably. God's like, what are you doing, bro? So yeah.
You're talking about me?
No, not you.
Just checking.
Have you gone to heaven yet?
Have
How
you
many
been
diamonds
there?
do you have?
Tried.
You try, yeah. Anyway, yeah.
I'm just joking. I haven't tried.
Yeah, I'm just,
That sounded bad. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it sounded very bad, Glenn.
I'm sorry.
Backpedal.
No, that hasn't happened. But now let's talk about this hope, which we're saying it's countercultural. It places us in in opposition to the world, really.
Yeah.
What is the point? Like, as in, we talk about hope as being something, if it's just wishful thinking, like if we're saying, well, hopefully one day it's going to be okay, and I'm going to get to heaven, and I'm going to wake up in a nice little bed, and everything's going to be forgotten. Like, you think, well, hopefully that's going to happen. But as Christians, we're not saying that. We're saying, and that's part of the resurrection of Jesus, the fact that Jesus is not dead, is that it's certain that he raised from the dead. What basis do we have from that certainty? Because everything we're saying here rises and falls on that certainty.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and as you were talking then, I was actually reminded of 1 Peter chapter 1, which we actually looked at camp a couple of years ago, where it talks about how Jesus is our living hope. And I know you don't remember. I'm very sorry you weren't there, Glenn. But I'm sure remember, that Brett gave a talk about our hope in him, in God, not in Brett, being 100%, and how, we have that confidence. And I think personally, just the fact is, like you said, like all my hope hinges on the resurrection being true. If the resurrection isn't real, if it's not true, then what am I doing? I wouldn't be here if I didn't think it was true. And I know that Paul talks about it a lot in the passage in 1 Corinthians 15 that I think you can probably read more of at home if you guys want to. But like it says in that passage, there are so many people who saw Jesus after he was resurrected, and
It's like
all
you're
these.
saying he's physically resurrected as well.
Yes.
Right? It's not like, oh, there's a principle that we get, as in we think of resurrection, we think of overcoming our problems. No, Jesus didn't really rise from the dead. No, we're saying Jesus did really rise from the dead. Yeah.
Scars on his hands and everything.
Yeah.
He was physically there, and there's a huge amount, even just in the Bible alone, to show that that's true. There were all these people who saw him, and anyone could have gone and asked them, or were you lying about that? And I mean, given the number of people there were, surely it would have come out.
Yeah.
If it were a lie. And then later on, people died for that belief. They died on the basis that Jesus did die, and that he did then rise again from the dead, and that it was God who did that, and Jesus who did that. And why would they be killed for something that was a lie or that wasn't true. And so I think my hope comes from the fact that the resurrection is grounded really clearly in truth and in history.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I've heard of a lot of people having a bit of a question towards like the legitimacy of the historical accuracy. Like, no one in history has ever come back from the dead. What's so special about this Jesus guy? Are you sure it even happened? What if it was a vision? Something like that. People have come out with explanations. But I remember there was this one seminar type thing that happened here last year where Tim McBride, shout out, he did a talk on like the historical accuracy of the Bible and all that kind of thing. And he spends the first half setting up like we don't really know properly. But then halfway through, there's a point where he said, man, if only there was some way to find this organized text, like there's so much information, this organized thing that shows a historical account, like things from the date. And then he said, hold on a minute, that's the Bible. So yeah, for those who are really logic-based, that's all you have to imagine. There were so many different like manuscripts and things from that time or right after it by so many different people in so many different places. It's just not possible to be a coincidence. It's just too rock solid.
Yeah. And just thinking about what would have happened to those Christians back in those days.
Yeah.
The option, as in, let's just take the example of Nero, the Emperor Nero, the Roman Emperor Nero. What he would do to Christians is he would feed them to animals and have people watch. He would put tar over them, put them on a lamppost, set them on fire, and they would be streetlights, as in, that's what was happening to Christians. And you know what? If they had said, if Christians had just said, you know what? I lied about Jesus being truly resurrected. If they could just say that, that wouldn't have happened. And then you look at letters from governors in the Roman Empire. Emperor Trajan, he used to write to a governor named Pliny the Younger. And there's actually letters between the two where Pliny is asking, he's like, these Christians, they're like, what am I supposed to do? Like, if this happens and the Christian says, well, I don't believe that anymore. And Trajan says, well, then just let them go.
Yeah.
So
Hectic stuff.
Yeah.
But they would rather die, as in, so important is this truth to them. So yeah, hope. But now what do we do with this? Like, how does this affect our life? What changes when you know this?
Well, for me personally, I like to equate it again, going back to the school example. You know how, I think some of you guys will get this, you know how in like year 11 and 12, maybe for uni, they put every exam or every test, every quiz, every assignment on the same day. Why do they do that? It's so terrible. Anyway, so you find out all of them like a month in advance maybe, and that month feels like 3 years. It's ridiculous. And my equation of that is once those ridiculously difficult short period of time that seems massive is over, there's that idea of utter relief. So that's what I like to imagine, because when we get through this life, which in comparison to forever is not that long, we're going to have that massive sense of relief. And for me, that's what fuels me during like times of struggle or like during the time that we're here.
Yeah, that's a really, really good example. And I think, it's hard to feel hopeless in your circumstances when you know ultimately, I'm a citizen of heaven. And even though there is sin now and there's difficulty now and like life can just be really, really hard sometimes. There isn't really a nice way of saying it. I know where I'm going and I have confidence in that, and I have confidence in God. I have confidence in Jesus' resurrection. And I think like we were talking about earlier, I have the confidence in heaven and that's where I'm going to go after I physically die. But I also have the confidence that Jesus loves and knows and cares for me and is present with me now as well. He cares about the now and he cares about the future. So my hope's sort of right now, but also hope for the future.
Well, thanks guys for that. It's very helpful. And we don't get taken out of the problems now. The problems are still there, but the way we go through them. And I think back to that 4-3-8 game at South Africa versus Australia. Now, I think I was very anxious during the game, thinking South Africa's going to lose. South Africa's going to lose. This is bad. But then they win. But now, what if we flip it around? We start the game, watching it on DVD or whatever, which you can now, and say, we know the result. it does change the way you see the game. And it's like with Christianity, you know how the game ends. You know Jesus wins. He was raised from the dead. And so like we know with certainty that we win. But yeah, you have, like in cricket, you have some batting collapses. You have
I have no idea what that
strange
means.
hamstrings.
Yep.
Strained. Did I say strange? Stranged hamstrings. Strained hamstrings. Stuff like that, yeah. So that's life. But that's also all we have time for, and I think that's enough. But let's pray and have some announcements, and then off to pods, yeah?
Let's.
Absolutely. Well, I'll pray for us now. So if you could all pray together with me, that would be wonderful. And then we'll hear some announcements from Glenn. Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for the fact that our youth group has been able to continue in getting to know you and spending time together and worshipping you during what's been a really, really difficult time for us as a ministry and for us as a country and the world. I pray towards hopefully next term being able to meet all together as a wider youth group. I pray that the coronavirus restrictions continue to ease and that we continue to experience the low rate of infections that we have at the moment. I pray that the health of vulnerable people is protected moving forward. I pray for what we talked about tonight. I thank you so much for your word and the fact that you have given it to us to teach us and to grow us closer to you. And I pray that you help us to have endurance and trust in the resurrection. Amen.
Amen.
All right, so just a little bit of what's coming up. Sunday, 4 p.m. block here at the church. Please remember, let your leaders know you're coming so we can make the right plans. Remember, we only allowed 50 people in this building on Sunday afternoon and Friday night, so we need to know who's coming. So tonight as well, we've got Fusion are here at the church. And Salt, you guys will be back next week. Again, please let your leaders know that you're coming so that we can make the right plans and all that stuff. I know it's a bit tedious, but please bear with us and help us with all that, okay? And with all that being said, that's us. So we'll see you next week, and I hope you guys have a great weekend.